Professional basketball is coming back to the Lower Mainland. No, it is not the return of the Vancouver Grizzlies nor any other NBA team. It is, however, a whole new league and a whole new team. The team is called the Fraser Valley Bandits. They'll be based in Abbotsford, and the Bandits will play in the upstart Canadian Elite Basketball League, or CEBL. Now, that league is spread across 4 provinces with 6 teams. They don't start playing until the spring, but season tickets are going on sale later this morning. Genier is the president and chief operating officer of Western Operations for the Canadian Elite Basketball League. He joins us on the line from Abbotsford. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Stephen, and how are you this morning? Thanks for having me on.
Well, you're very welcome, and thanks for taking the time with us. You look at teams like the Toronto Raptors, Canada's only NBA franchise now. They've gained a huge following right across the country in recent years. To what extent is the Canadian Elite Basketball League a response to that kind of success of Canada's only NBA team?
Well, in recent years, you've seen a huge trajectory of basketball on the incline across Canada. You've got more Canadians playing in the NBA and the NCAA and playing professional ball around the world. So it's time. It's the fastest growing sport in North America and largely one of the most played sport in North America. So it is time for us to launch this league and again bring basketball back to the Fraser Valley and the lower mainland.
Now, 70% of the players in the CEBL are going to be Canadian. Considering that the best basketball players tend to come from the United States, what do you think is going to make people want to watch a team with primarily Canadian players?
Well, we are going to focus on finding the best players we can. And, the talent level out there, when you talk about a 10-man roster and how many players, whether they're coming back, have played in the NCAA, if they've played in the NBA or in the G League or coming from Europe, we're talking about the nuances of being from, a certain, making a certain team or not making a certain team, is coming back and playing for us. So we expect, we're going to have the highest quality of players and the highest caliber of players on all levels, from coaching right across the country.
What is that going to look like on the court? I mean, what would you compare the game that you're bringing to Abbotsford? What would you compare that to that we see in basketball already?
Well, to be quite honest, you're going to see a very fast-paced game. We're going to play FIBA rules, which is a little bit different. That it's 4 10-minute quarters, a little bit of a shorter shot clock. And so when you look at that, I'm going to say you could probably compare it to the G League, but a lot of what we're going to be focused on is also bringing, the in-game experience as well. So wrapping that game, and is every sporting event you go to, it's really about that experiential fan experience, and that's something that we're going to focus on in addition to the game. So that's going to be the new experience in front of this very fast game that's widely played across the world.
It has been, as I mentioned, 17 years since the Grizzlies left town. What sort of demand do you expect to see for the Fraser Valley Bandits across the Lower Mainland?
Well, the response that we've had has been incredible, Stephen, already. We've been on our pre-sale for the last 3 months. And we've had, response right across the valley and into Vancouver. And if you recently saw when the Raptors were playing in Vancouver against the Trailblazers, a sold-out Rogers Arena, and tickets for selling for $400, and it was just a great experience. So
sure, that's NBA ball, though. I mean, we're talking about the Toronto Raptors here.
Absolutely, but again, we are going to be Canadian flavor, and we are pro basketball. We're a full pro basketball league, and we're not the Raptors, just in the sense that maybe our players don't make $8 million a year, but they will be players that play on this team that have played in the NBA, and that's the level that we can expect, and so as you grow a league, you have a lot of leaps and bounds to make there.
One of our story producers, Matt Humphrey, asked people in downtown Vancouver what they thought about a new pro basketball team coming to Abbotsford, and I just want you to hear some of the responses that he got.
There's a Canadian basketball league coming to Canada, the Canadian Elite Basketball League.
Yep.
Would you go watch them play?
Yeah, I would.
Would you go all the way to Abbotsford to do it?
No.
How about yourself? Would you watch the Canadian Elite Basketball League?
No.
Would you watch it?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
I don't think the talent would be there.
So would you watch the Canadians play?
No, sir. Yeah, no.
Do you think that might be the sentiment among many Canadians? It's not really thought of as our sport.
Yeah, I mean, I think in schools now there's a lot more basketball, but I'm old. We didn't have a basketball team. We had a hockey team.
Would you watch them?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because I like basketball.
Do you think there's a lot of talent in this country for basketball?
Absolutely. All you got to do now is look at the NBA and see the young stars that are coming up, many of them Canadian.
There you go. But other than that last voice, not a lot of excitement from the people that our producer spoke with. Lee, does that response surprise you at all?
Not really. It's anything when you're launching, and I've launched teams before, and it's not too dissimilar when you have something new and people are unfamiliar with it. And until people see the product that we put on the court and our game experience, I love to prove people wrong. So I'm really looking forward to coming next May, and like I say, we're going to have a sold out Abbey Center that is going to be absolutely packed to the roof and rocking the building as well.
I'm curious, what teams have you launched before?
I was part of launching the Saskatchewan Rush in 2015. So in Saskatoon, that became out of a 15,000 seat arena, and that there was a lot of naysayers being lacrosse. And every night we had 15,000 people, screaming in one of the best atmospheres in professional sports. So, I have a 30-year pro sports career, and as everything evolves in sports, and where we are right now is basketball. If you look at basketball and soccer, both on huge trajectories in North America, so. I'd rather be, in that position with a sport, because I've been in a lot of them, and looking forward to, it's just a hotbed of basketball in the Fraser Valley, and we've talked to so many people that have from Vancouver have already purchased tickets and are looking forward to making the drive out, because primarily we are Thursday night games in the summer. And we did that purposely to stay away from people's weekends, because we know how valuable weekends are in the summer, and we really wanted to create that Thursday night vibe.
Lee, it's great to talk with you today, and we've got some tickets to give away to the very first game. Whoever gets them is going to have to wait until May, but thanks so much for the time this morning. We appreciate it.
Hey, my pleasure, and thank you very much for having me on, Stephen.
You take care. Bye-bye now.